starting at noon Eastern Standard Time in about 3 minutes here. We'll start taking your questions. Ask Stephen Pope, my Amazon guy, anything. Welcome to the Friday My Amazon Guy show. Today, I am joined by my father, Dan Pope.
Hello.
He's our sales manager, and I'm going to turn over to him for just a brief moment.
Hey, it's great to be with you, Stephen. I really am amazed as to how fast you've been able to grow this company. I'm sales manager now. When I first came here last summer, you had what, 22, 23 employees?
We've really blown it up.
Yeah, now we have 107 employees, and all of our friends out there, if they want to talk to me about buying some Amazon, some of the things that we do, we have lots of different full service to PPC service to A+ content. All of those things are available, and I'd love to talk to you about it.
So I don't know if you guys have been watching the new show on Apple called Foundations, but I was joking with my dad the other day that he is brother Dusk and I'm brother Day. Dusk. And then I've got three boys to pick from, and we could call brother Dawn. Great show on Apple TV. I'm not trying to plug it, but I really enjoyed it. And so now just can you see the resemblance, guys?
I'm brother Dusk.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for all you do for Stephen, and thanks for the questions. And I hope you have a great show.
Well, perfect. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
Forgot to talk about
So some of you have seen the Mexican Coke that's right here. And by the way, my dad grew up. So he grew up in Utah. He's a weatherman by trade, and he used to do the green chroma key. And so that was my understanding of how a green chroma key worked was from my dad, because you were a weatherman for like 40 plus years.
38 years.
Yeah,
38 years plus. Still keeping my foot in the door, but I'm pretty much done. I'm working for you. I'm full time for you. I'm busy.
Burn your ships. You're only working for me now. Okay. But no, you love weather. So anyway, so if you're wondering how my dad served a mission, Spanish speaking, for 2 years, and he found some Mexican Coke while he was down there.
Hablo español si quiere entender todo de Amazon Guy. Llegan amigo.
And we also have Spanish coaching now. All right, Dad, love you lots. All right, so we're going to jump into our questions. Hopefully you guys got a little flavor and fun there with some family stuff. Let's see how we're doing on mic. Everything's good. Old Hickory, welcome, Dan. God bless. Jeff Allen Foundation is awesome. It really is nice. Happy Friday to you, Old Hickory. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida, coming out of Kevin. My wife, who likes to troll me on occasion. Kids love helping Grandpa Dan here for the week. So it's nice to have him at the house. He's normally in Utah. We're down here in Atlanta. All right, so we're going to start prioritizing member questions. If you want to become a member today, just click that join button, or you can get us a super sticker. We'll make sure we don't miss your question. We're going to start off with Rachna. Thanks for the donation there. Hello, Stephen. I have some Halloween inventory, 500 units, which did not arrive in time and is now not selling even after lowering the price. I am not a U.S. resident. What are my best options? So when you say Halloween inventory, what I'm hearing from you is that you literally have like Halloween costumes or something, and we're past the date. And what should you do about it? Generally speaking, you have two options. Option one, liquidate. And this is when you're going to get pennies on the dollar, and your goal is just to really get rid of the inventory. You now have the ability to donate the inventory out of Seller Central. Couple clicks of the button, you'll be done with the problem. Obviously, you don't want to do that, but it's an option. Option two, ship the inventory out of Amazon to a 3PL and store it for a year. I don't know how much you're invested into this. If you're invested less than $3,000 or $4,000, Rachna, I would just donate and let it go, or just let it go live and sell a few units and donate some of it, or lower the price. But if it's a pretty big investment, maybe you're in this $10,000, $20,000. I would store it until next year. That's what I would do. And I would ship it out to a 3PL, a warehouse to hold it, especially since you're not in the US and you can't ship it to yourself. What's the best way to reply to a critical review? Are there chances that a buyer will delete a negative review if the seller gives a courtesy refund? I'd say you have about a 5% chance. This is me anecdotally collecting data points on that question. And I would say for every 100 customers, or let's do 20, make the math a little easier. Every 20 times you do a courtesy refund, one of those 20 will remove their negative review. The other 19, they're going to keep it up. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. Keep in mind, you can no longer reply publicly to a review on a product. You can still privately respond to them, though. And we do have a video on the channel. Just look for review response, my Amazon Guy into Google. You'll be able to find the video there. And I do recommend doing that. David Scott, I purchased some candy in bulk and authorized to sell. By the way, I've done this myself. I shipped a couple of pallets into my garage early in my Amazon days, mind you. And when I try to list with the UPC on the package, the UPC is used, reflects the same item, but different quantity of pieces of candy. What should I do? David, easy answer on this one. Go buy a UPC that's retired off eBay and load it as a new product into Amazon. Now, you're going to lose the reviews. That's the downside. But what happens in the food, especially candy and grocery industry, is they'll do one UPC code, and then there will be multiple quantities of said item available for sale. Now, David, what I would do is I would create a new parentage for said brand with both quantities. If there's reviews on the other one and if the other one's active, you want to piggyback off of it. This is kosher. This is totally fine. Amazon's cool with it because you're adding value. You're adding a new variation to the listing. But it's a little tricky, a little tricky. You got to do some parentage work, some template uploads. But I've done this before. One of my favorite candies, by the way, is High Chews. And those things are incredible. And I buy them on Amazon because it's like half off what you'd pay at the grocery store. So yeah, the grape ones and the banana ones, those are my favorite. Maybe strawberry comes in third. What's your favorite flavor? Post it in the comments here. Moz says, I sent stock, which will be still processed. My listing shows in stock future date. So I added FBM offer. It's still active. However, when I go to my listing, it only shows my FBA offer. So Moz, I'm not clear on what your goal is with this, but if you're trying to get it so that the item is inactive until it's actually at FBA, the solution here is to unenroll in the program that allows for a restock to show sales, like the shipping on November 9th when it's November 1st kind of thing. But if you're trying to make the FBM offer active and not the FBA while it's kind of waiting there, there could be like a closed listing that you need to reopen or some other bug. That one's a little hard to troubleshoot without seeing that one, Moz, but I bet you that's probably a really quick fix. I bet you it's 5 or 10 minutes of effort to find it once you figure out where you're looking. Jeff, thanks for being a super fan. We saw you yesterday on the Destiny Wish On podcast. That was a really good podcast, by the way. If you haven't watched the PPC Q&A we did with Destiny Wish On, it was really great. We also had a little bit of a cameo from Ad Badger, and that was a really fun one. Jeff asked some really good questions. Only 3 questions today, though, he says. He'll space them out. First question. I have heard many times that the first 5 words in a title index higher than the rest of the title. Is that true? This used to be true. It no longer is. Now, indexing on Amazon is not affected by the order of the title any longer. That's the official Amazon policy. And from my own testing, I would agree with it. However, the first 5 words, if followed by a hyphen or some sort of word break, usually hyphen is the one that people do, you will index the URL with those 5 keywords in Google, which can be beneficial. There's no way to measure how much of an impact this is. And if you have to, you got a 2 or 3 word brand name, this can be a little problematic to try and put a hyphen 5 words in. So it's not a critical component. It's not something every listing has to have. But if you can fit it in, you might as well. Thanks for your video with Destiny yesterday. You're very welcome. Steve says, hey, Steven, great name, by the way. Also, my middle initial is a W for Wayne. So Steve W., you're pretty much half my name there. Having issues pushing listings changes. Despite being brand registered, these listings were created from other sellers. Flat File says there's conflicts. Ticketing also useless ideas. So depending on how valuable these listings are in the system, like if they have 10 plus reviews, I would try and co-opt control and gain them and take them over. If these are brand new listings, what I would do is simply buy new UPCs. I see that problem all the time. One of my longest standing supplement clients bought UPCs, 6-7 years ago, and they were all co-opted by Chinese hijackers, every single one of them, even though they've never loaded them to Amazon, selling different products. And I flat out told them, and I was like, look, guys, you guys need to retire this entire batch of UPCs, never use them again. They're like, why? We bought them from UPC. They're GS1 qualified. And I said, it's not worth trying to fight the Chinese. Like, the Chinese don't give a crap about any of the rules. They're trying to get food on the table. They're going to fight tooth and nail to win on Amazon. And so if that's your case, Steve, I would highly recommend to retire the UPCs if all of them have been co-opted and just buy a new batch. Now, if it's the correct item and you just can't get your listing changes in, that's a totally different story. And in that instance, what I would do is make sure a UPC is loaded into your seller contribution. And I have a video that's going to come out on Monday about how it's always the UPC that's the problem. It's always the UPC that's the problem. And then when you get that loaded in, file brand registry tickets to get the changes to reflect. Brand registry tickets are the most powerful way to get listings to reflect. Do you take on clients that have a completely new brand with no sales history? Yes, we do. Sometimes we're a little expensive for somebody that's side hustling and just launching a brand for the first time, because it's like hiring an employee when you hire an agency, right? So is there a certain benchmark of sales they need in order to become a client? There is not. It's just, can you afford us? Because you're going to be spending, a 3-month contract with us minimum, and engaging with us in the thousands of dollars to run everything soup to nuts from PPC to SEO. Steve, I would highly recommend you book a call today with my father. He might still have an appointment slot available. I'm going to post his actual calendar link into the chat. Steve W., book with Dan. And anybody else that wants to book a call with Dan, feel free. He'll be traveling on Monday, so he's got a little tight schedule today. So you might have to book next week if he's unavailable further. It looks like he does still have his 4 slots available today, still later in the afternoon. If you want to talk to him, Steve, we'll figure out if we can help you. For those that are new or don't know about My Amazon Guy, just us in a quick 30-second soundbite here. We are a full service agency. We do everything we can to grow sales on Amazon. And there's 2 ways we grow sales. The first is through traffic generation, and the second, and this page is not loading, there we go, and the second is through conversion rate improvements. So 2 things that grow traffic is PPC and SEO, and the 2 things that really affect conversion: design and catalog merchandising. So any of the troubleshooting, those kinds of questions you guys come to me all the time for, brand registry problems, all that's all included. So feel free to book a call with Dan if you're interested in learning more about that. What's your bid size for auto discovery campaigns for a product launch? Do you split the campaigns for loose match, etc.? We've tested the auto campaign splitting. I think it's a tiny bit overkill, but it's still doable. It's not that much more work. So I mean, I would recommend it if you have the time, essentially, but it's kind of lower on the spectrum of things that you need to do. What would I do for bid? I would put it right in the middle of the bid, or slightly under average. So if your bid average for that particular category is 75 cents, I'd be somewhere between 70 and 75 cents. And that is so Amazon can find words for you. By the way, I keep auto campaigns on in perpetuity. This is an unusual thing. A lot of people don't like to keep their auto campaigns on, but I do. I just add lots of negations for things that don't work. I like keeping auto campaigns up as well as broad match campaigns, because they eventually produce in additional ways you can't predict, and there's a lot of value with that. What is the benefit of creating a shipping plan from a U.S. address, ship from, while the shipment is actually coming from China? So Osos, in the past, that's actually how you had to do it. They wouldn't even allow you to put the China shipping address in. And so there's a lot of people that probably just do it purely out of habit. But today you can fill in the Chinese address. The only reason I probably would do it is if I was trying to get them to switch the destination port from like West or East Coast. Because if it's coming from China and you want it to land in California, and then they're telling you to ship it to New York, that's kind of sucky, right? Like, you're going to spend a lot of money on that. And so sometimes you can fudge it a little bit and put in a California address to try and get a California FBA facility. But this is rare. It's unusual. It's not something people really need to do. And I don't think there's a lot of benefits beyond that speculation that I just gave. Toy School asks, how to prevent the customer return product back to my FBA inventory. I asked last time, but couldn't figure it out. So inside of the settings for FBA, and I think they changed the way that the settings looked, and so I couldn't find it for you fast enough on the last Q&A, and I apologize. There's a way to automate the unfulfillable on a return to not go back in to your FBA inventory. So it's inside of the settings page that I know. I'm posting a link right now in the bottom of the chat where that setting is available. But I still don't see where they've changed the location of that. So if anybody knows the location of where they moved the ability to prevent customer returns going back into FBA inventory, please let me know. We might have to make a special video to make it up to Toy School here because I'm looking at the settings page right here and I do not see it. Right. So if I'm in the settings under FBA settings, where'd that go? Fulfillment by Amazon down there. And then in here, there should be a section for allowing Amazon to repackage your good on a return. And I do not see it. So here's the inbound settings. And you scroll down here, you can see multi-channel fulfillment settings, but there's not a setting for returns that normally was there. And it was there like a few months ago. So if anybody knows where that is, please share, help them out, help me out too. Imi says, how do you launch PPC campaigns? You launch all the campaigns at once. Yes, I do actually. And I highly recommend doing that because you want to do as much PPC spend as you can in the first honeymoon period, first couple of weeks. Very, very beneficial. Now, some of these campaigns are going to suffer and be really bad and be paused within that 14 time period. Other campaigns, though, will do quite well. And if you wait to launch all of them, then you're not taking advantage of that honeymoon period. Now, obviously, with less reviews, some people are afraid to spend more PPC money. But from my experience, if you have a good product, you can get the #1 new release badge, like I did with my Age of Sage smudge kits, and I'll show that real quick. By having the #1 new release bestseller, it doesn't matter how many reviews I have. Now, I've already sold 1,000 of these units, and this product's not even 2.5, 3 weeks old, and very beneficial, right? So I think you can launch without heavy PPC. I no longer use Vine either. I don't think it's necessary. And we also just launched the new smudge kit variation, although the copy hasn't even been loaded. This literally just went live like in the last 24 hours. But we got the A+ published, which is nice. That's good. We got our brand story up. I haven't even read that yet. So my team's been working on this. And I would just say long tail keywords are very beneficial even on day one. So if this is a question of effort and time and you have to prioritize, then you want to prioritize a broad match and an auto campaign. But if this is a question of budget, then you just want to do all of them except probably display and brand, do all sponsored products if it's a budget question. But if it's a strategy question, my strategy is hit everything at the same time because it's gonna be better for the honeymoon period. Oso said, I tried reimbursing units as your last video, but got the error message. Transaction ID is to increase your customer damage inventory is not eligible for reimbursement per Amazon policy. So the technical reason on that particular transaction, Osos, is because they don't reimburse you for customer damaged items. That is a policy. It's a stupid policy, but that is the policy. So if you personally damage something and return it to Amazon, Amazon will not reimburse the seller for a customer damaged item. So most of those transaction reimbursements you're trying to get are not about customer damages. They're about Amazon warehouse damages, Amazon warehouse losses, and Amazon not receiving the return at all from the customer. For those that haven't done reimbursement clawbacks on your account in the last 6 months, there are literally thousands of dollars waiting in your account to go get them. We do have an add-on service called My Refund Guy, and the first $500 are on the house, after which we charge 25% commission, and we'll do everything manually to go chase those services. So definitely check that out if you need help with it. Although in that video I just released, I give it all away for free and tell you how we do it. So have at it if you want to go yourself. Jeff says, please do something about the on hold music. I feel like I'm in Stranger Things. Jeff, at this point, it's become part of our brand. So if anybody out there wants to make me a new intro video, I will pay you for it. You just send me a taste of what you can do. We would be happy to do it. Please explain the products that need to be tested for certification. Typically speaking, you're talking about kids' toys and anything that is topical for like beauty products, health products, as well as consumable health related products like supplements. They need a certificate of analysis. Hi, Stephen. In the UK, we are being asked to provide required verification of our account, US based, namely the statutes, by law, articles of association. We uploaded our LLC incorporated documents, but it keeps getting rejected. What more do we need to provide? Any templates you can share? Thank you. First of all, I hate dealing with the European laws. They're heinous in many instances. So it's not Amazon that's forcing those corporation documents. It's actually the governments of the EU forcing Amazon to collect it, which is a pain in the butt. From my experience, any reason for rejection on something like this, it's generally because the name is mismatching letter for letter on Amazon in Seller Central in the account info section. The legal name as well as those articles need to be letter for letter matching. So that's what I would audit, cool peeps, as I would go in there and I would double check to make sure what you've supplied identically matches what is in the system already. Beyond that, I don't have a lot of good advice on this particular subject. Document uploading, they never tell you what's actually wrong with it. So if you call in, they might be able to give you a hint, but they never actually physically show you in a ticket what the problem is. Lastly, the thing I'd say is if you can get a hold of somebody from the Amazon sales team in the UK, they can do an identity verification for you and help you out as well. I don't have any contacts over there, unfortunately. Can you please talk about the relationship between FBA inventory in the category of available, inbound, and reserved? What do they mean, and how long does it take to typically move in between? This is a fantastic question. I'll probably pull up my account to demonstrate this one. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about how this works and everything involved with that. So let's do. I'll type in my smudge kits here. All right, so let's share the screen here. So in here, I have 220 inbound on my smudge kit. Technically, nothing is at FBA yet. So I do have the feature enabled right now where I allow it to take the item live before it's available. And that's because the other variations are already available. So this is inbound. This means that you've created a shipment. Amazon has scanned it on the way. So there's either a pallet pickup or a UPS label that's been scanned. It's inbound. So if we go over to, let's look at this one. So this has got a bunch in reserve and a bunch in available. This one's kind of got all kinds of messiness. So on this one here, I have 210 available. This means that they've been checked in at FBA and are fully good to go. Inbound, we've covered, and reserved, this is the catch-all. This is the one that everybody usually has questions about. So reserved inventory can make up a lot of things. It can include items that have been checked in at Amazon but are not technically fully checked in yet. So they went to the dock, but they haven't been checked in yet. Other things for reserved can include customer orders. So we have 51 of these in reserved. All 51 of those could be an order in the last 48 hours that hasn't shipped out of Amazon yet. Additionally, reserved inventory can be a catch-all for FC transfer. In the past, they really put heavily amounts of FC transfer into the reserve category. They may be breaking that one out now. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm kind of clicking on a few other ones to see what it looks like. So In Stock Head Start is the program that allows it to go live. Future supply buyable, if you will. While it's in FC transfer, though, it's basically in research status, and that will allow you to sell it but not ship it. And sometimes the FC transfer will become unavailable for sale. If they know they're delayed, they'll disable it. So those are kind of the basic ones. Unfulfillable, this means it's a damaged item. They're going to either destroy it or ship it back to you. Researching is kind of another catch-all, but much smaller. Not usually a lot of people will see a lot of inventory in researching. This could be like they pulled a unit out because they need to measure it. So sometimes you'll see that on a new product. They'll pull one unit for researching to measure it. Other times, if you got like a listing yank situation, they'll pull all the inventory to look at expiration dates and stuff like that. So hopefully that was helpful. A little tutorial there on the fly. How long do you run your new campaigns on a new launch item before you start optimizing them? Any good videos you can suggest on the optimization process? Now, so here's the reason why PPC optimization is so SKU focused, so category focused. Even if you found the best video on this topic, it may or may not apply directly to your product. And that's the challenge. There's a lot of unique things you need to do, but I can't answer this from a macro level. I will launch a campaign and I will lose money on a product, usually on average about $3,000 per product, happily to rank the product. It's exactly what I did on the smudge sticks, and it's been very successful. So I've had 1,000 unit sales in the first couple of weeks here, which has been very beneficial. I haven't looked up my product in Helium 10 in a long time, and for whatever reason, my Chrome extension is not triggering. So I'm going to go over directly to Helium 10 here and log in. And in any case, the number of keywords you index for on a new product is extremely important because it allows you to show up in more places for free. And by generating lots of buzz when a new product launches, you get a ton of cursory benefits, higher rankings faster. So when do I start optimizing them? After 48 to 72 hours, right? So here's a product. We've indexed it for 841 keywords. I like to try and hit 1,000 keywords by end of month 1. And we like to use a 1-to-2 ratio. So for every 2 keywords organically indexed, I like to spend PPC on at least one of them. And so the product that I selected here was a 6-pack. I think my 3-pack's even a better seller. And sometimes Helium 10 will track the keywords uniquely on the variations, and other times they combine them together. So let's see what happens here. So we're at 841. Let's see if the 3-pack has additional keywords indexed, or let's see if it matches it. I'm kind of curious here. So it matched. So basically everything in the parentage is matching in the Helium 10 system. Sometimes it doesn't. So half of my keywords have the word sage in them. You can see that there. So if we looked at the PPC keywords, I probably was more at like 700 or 800 keywords when I first started out this product launch. And then we pulled it back because now we've got our momentum. We got the number 1 new incense in the category. It's selling really well. And so we're allowed to do that. In any case, when you go to optimize campaigns, you're doing the following things from a high level. Number 1, you're negating keywords that should not be advertised. This is especially true on auto and broad match campaigns, but could also affect phrase match and some other types of cursory campaigns. Number 2, you're going to adjust bids. So sometimes you need to bid up higher if there's not enough impressions. Sometimes you want to pull the bid down if your ACOS is too high. Sometimes you need to optimize the main image of the product. And this is a very good case example with the soap product that I recently launched, where we've been testing repeatedly new main images. So this is a new men's soap and a fruity soap. And this main image here, we switched it out 4 times to try and find the perfect mix for this to get the most clicks so people come to the listing and buy it. And by switching out the main image, it greatly affects the conversion rate. And that's sometimes your PPC optimization work will take you to the listing to work on conversion or click-through rate, especially main image. Main image is the most important thing to get correct because you got to stand out from the crowd here to make a really big dent. So you're going to update bids. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to add new keywords. And you're going to continually discover new keywords. You're going to set up new campaign types. Maybe you didn't have the video ready when you first launched your product. Now you got the video up. Video ads, never been smarter to run right now. How do you run retargeting ads on Amazon? Also, can video ads run on CPC, not just CPM? Thank you. So yes, inside of the campaign manager, they just recently started testing and rolling out a non-CPM model. And I would test it, but with every new type of thing, you always have to test it out to see if it's going to work. A lot of the new campaign types often will fail when they first launch. And I'm curious, I think that looks a little bit better when I share the screen like that. So in here, if you're trying to run retargeting, it's always going to be a sponsored display ad. So you go in here and let's just, go through the motions of setting something up. And when we scroll down here, There's options for product targeting where you can choose specific products. You can do audience targeting based on shopping or streaming. And in here, views remarketing on the audience type is the answer to your question. Purchases remarketing, also an interesting one, because this will hit people that have previously purchased from you. So if somebody's bought a funny wine glass from me, chances are they're going to buy another one next Christmas. And so doing a purchase remarketing also can be very, very beneficial. I'd like to own my Amazon customers, but Amazon makes it impossible. How do you suggest getting customers' emails or addresses to build a client list? So you have to use an intermediate party to collect a landing page and send external traffic. There's no way for you to extract them out of Seller Central any further. They made that change, I want to say 18 months ago. I think there's still some AP access on shipping downloads that you can quote unquote get it out of, but it's really a pain in the butt. In general, you really can't own your Amazon customers, and that's just the truth of the matter, unfortunately. What is your target ACOS for newly launched campaigns? I'm going to lose $3,000 on a product launch in the first 2 weeks, generally speaking. And so it's not a target ACOS. It's just I'm just going to throw money at the product to get it off the ground. Following that, ACOS, generally speaking, will be very high on a new product launch just because it takes a long time to get it off the ground. You're usually looking at 70 or 80% on a new product, and even going into month, let's say week 4 to 6. But in general, I like to have my TACOS, my total ad costs, at about 30% in month 1. And 20% in month 2. And I work myself down towards the end of month 3 to try and hit 11 to 14% TACOS. But ACOS, it can be a little bit tricky, sometimes a little bit on the high side. All right. So I purchased some candy. We did that one, I think. I want to say we did. Yes, we did that one. David, I buy the legit UPC codes GS1. Is that okay to still use it on the candy that already has one? Yes. Yes, it is, David. So just create a new SKU variation and load that UPC there. Your dad is fire. 2 questions, please. Can you please shed some light on why, as a brand owner, I don't have a 100% buy box win? There could be a couple reasons for this. The scariest of which is somebody is actually selling your product. Or Amazon took away your buy box entirely because they sensed a product price lower off of the website. There is a way to maliciously report listings and putting up fake websites to show a lower price, which is a terrible thing that Amazon has allowed to happen. But usually, I'd say 95% of the time, if your buy box is dripping from 100% down to like 96 or 97%, it's nothing to be alarmed about. Every time I've done any research and review on this question, it's usually just the data just says that, but in reality, you always have the buy box. There could be some geo-located items that are stealing the buy box from you in isolation, but I haven't been able to prove that. So don't know about that. I sold my initial inventory and I'm stock out on most of my key products. I plan on signing up for your services. Is there a point to sign up while my products are not available? Yes. I generally recommend working with us a minimum of 6 weeks before your intended launch date. And that is to allow us to get all of the data set up, all the campaign structures, all of the logistics, all of the A+ content designs. And that's a generous amount of time for us to do our job properly so you hit your launch with everything you need to be done. Obviously, you can hire us at any point in time, whatever your budget allows for, and schedule a call with my father Dan and talk it out with him. See what's right for you. Andy says, hello, Stephen. I was just wondering, I'm about to launch on Monday. So far, I know that I should run one exact, one auto, phrase, broad campaigns. Do you recommend running any more than those 4? Yes, I would also do a category targeting campaign. So if you sell a wine glass, target wine glasses. I would also run a video ad campaign as well as a sponsored brand campaign if you want to defend your own brand name. Because generally speaking, nobody's bidding on your brand when you first launch. But over time, they will. And so sometimes your competitors are willing to spend more money on your brand to acquire your customers. So keep that in mind. But yes, I would be running usually about 8 to 12 campaigns on a product launch. Sometimes you want to isolate out some of the exact match keywords as well, and bid them higher up on the search page. So an exact match, lower bid, high search, bid modifier can be very beneficial. David says, do the Chinese have to deal with the same seller garbage that U.S. sellers do? It seems they never get slaps. They do. In fact, they break the rules even more, and they're usually the reasons that Amazon has some of these terrible rules to begin with. Amazon is well aware of the selling Chinese abuse. However, they are, suffice it to say, they have a lot of money coming out of China. And so they're slow to act on some of the corruption and the fraud and the problems. But yes, they're aware of it. And sometimes they have to figure out, how do you make an 80-20 rule where you get 80% of the bad actors with 20% of the effort? Those are generally the best policies that occur within the Amazon ecosystem to prevent fraud, corruption, hijackers, and all that good stuff. So like Brand Registry was a great development on the Amazon platform as an example of that. But even still today, there's still rampant problems. Like the Chinese are loading drug paraphernalia terms in Canada to take down your US listings. Stuff like that happens all the time. But to reconfirm, yes, the Chinese have to deal with the same problem. So do the aggregators and the really rich sellers in the US. They don't have any special treatment either from Amazon. It is a free-for-all grind to try and collect any of those optimizations. Jeffrey Vallon says, is there a way to keep Amazon from selling my products? I'm thinking they are selling returned items. Problem is they're hogging the buy box. Any thoughts? So warehouse deals, I don't really think you should worry about at all. But if they are literally selling your same item and taking your buy box at the same price and it's shipped and sold by Amazon, there could be somebody distributing the item through Vendor Central. If that's the case, you do not have any recourse, unfortunately. Amazon's going to try and collect your item by any means necessary in their distribution network, and they're very facetious about how they do that. But if it's, what I would do, Jeff, is I would look at your listing and I would add to cart those secondary seller or that secondary Amazon.com and see how many units we're talking. If it's just a couple of units, I'd let it go, maybe buy them out and just kind of pass it on. But you could file a trademark infringement and try and get them taken down. It's kind of an uphill battle, though. As for my above question, we tried ticketing through Brand Registry for listing changes. They said they cannot help and it needs to be submitted through Seller Central. That is quite unusual. Brand Registry is way better for getting listing changes made than Seller Central these days. And that's very, very surprising. I would continue filing tickets by any means necessary. Do it in both Brand Registry as well as Seller Central. I assume, though, you have Brand Registry control for these products, so I don't understand why they would reject it in the Brand Registry portal. There's got to be something else going on there that's not on the surface that we need to look into. Can you go into more detail regarding why you think aggregators are the future and gone are the days of sourcing on Alibaba? Well, first of all, on the left, you've got aggregators coming in and spending more money to spend on PPC. PPC costs are up 36% year to date. All kinds of reasons more money in the space makes it more competitive. On the right, you have the Chinese coming in and selling direct to consumer. I don't think it's the aggregators that are going to prevent you from selling an Alibaba item. I think it's the Chinese that are going to sell direct to consumer and undercut you on price. So if you're selling an apple slicer, garlic press, whatever it might be, you can't beat their prices. Even if they don't have good branding, they're still going to win because it's a widget. So where you can beat both the aggregators and the Chinese is by building a community, and anything you can do to converse with your community and answer the problems and the questions that they have. So if you're selling to 3-time divorced truck drivers, you know that they need hotels and travel tips and hygiene recommendations. Like, these are the things that those individuals are going to need to go on their journey. And if you build a community answering those questions, they will follow you and pay higher prices. On the top, so you got the aggregators on the left, you got the Chinese on the right, and then on the top, you got Amazon pushing down with new policies, raising the bar, making it harder to be an Amazon seller to begin with. But But to be honest, I don't think the aggregators are the future at all. I think that they are just investment money coming in and buying a segment of the market. They do increase the sophistication, but to be honest, I think an Amazon seller who knows what they're doing is highly motivated and will beat the aggregators. And here's proof. Over the last few years, when private brands were going on Amazon and had better optimized listings and were beating the corporations, the Procter and Gamble type products on Amazon, they did this because they did better optimization. They hustled more. So I don't know if the aggregators will hustle as much as a mom and pop Amazon seller who has to put food on the table. I just don't think they will. They're going to buy the easiest products, the feature products to make that happen. All right. So I think we've caught up on member questions. Got one more here, and then we'll start doing some of the future member questions on the channel. Jeff says, where do you find Pink keywords in Seller Central? So we use this in our SEO phase 2. This is when we incrementally index for products. And our goal here is to slough off any of the product keywords that don't add value after the product has been up for around 30 days. This information can be found in the brand dropdown, and I believe it's the brand dashboard, and I'm looking for it right now. So here we go. So here's my brand dashboard. In here, you go to the search term optimizer, and you can see which products have not been optimized for Pink keywords. Now, for some of my wine glasses, it's extraordinarily difficult because we put a lot of KIF keywords into the system. But here's an exact situation. So wine glass is for women, Fox wine glass, all of these words here have been already covered inside of the title and the bullets and need to be reworked, removed, and to add in additional keywords that are not already covered. And this particular one needs a lot of optimization work. It's not a very good example of an optimized product. So you slough off these Pink keywords, and then you edit them out, and then you add in new good ones that will add additional value to index the product. So that's really the point of this. And it looks like my product got unparented here too. So I got some work to do on this one. So sometimes it's good to go back and re-review things and go look at some of your past optimization work and see what you can do to make it better. That one might have been one of my discontinued products, which is why we're not using it. Vasil says, what are your thoughts on Quartile? So Quartile is a very large business. They are working directly with Thrasio. They have a lot of tech investment. And I would say of any PPC software out there, they are the hardest to leave. They will create thousands of campaigns in your system, and it makes it very difficult to leave their platform because of how segmented they are. For big brands, Quartile is a pretty dang good fit because big brands need to spend big budgets and run lots of tests. For mom and pops, I wouldn't do it. I don't think that's the solution for you. I think manual is best still today and beats the PPC softwares. PPC softwares are really good at removing waste, but they're not good at growing brands. And in the case of Quartile, they're a little bit unique in the sense that they actually go out of their way to spend lots of money and to test all of that. My NARF Canada got shut down due to a suspected related account. Now, Amazon is saying I have 30 days to remove my NARF inventory or it'll be disposed of. I thought this was all U.S. inventory. Any advice? Brandon, this is really unusual. I don't think they can remove your U.S. inventory if you got a suspension in Canada. So maybe this is when I'd want to really carefully read the messaging there. Maybe they're just going to remove NARF out of Canada on your behalf. That could be the reason. Or if you have some FBA inventory at all. So Brandon, what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would fight that suspension because you want to have that Canada account up. If you don't have Canada unsuspended, your brand registry tickets can get ignored, and that could hurt your data control in the US. So Brandon, if you need help with that, I would hire us for a coaching call to go in and see if we can fix the reason why it was suspended. Maybe you need a full-on end-to-end service on getting that reinstated. We can help out with that. Purchase the required business insurance via Amazon, but the policy needs my single member LLC name listed, while Amazon requires my personal name as legal entity and so it's rejected. Any advice? So you want to match the LLC? Why can't you have the insurance to list both out? Have two lines for your name there. That's probably what I would do. But the LLC name is in fact what they're looking for. When we submitted ours, it went right through. I didn't have any problems. So I'm actually kind of surprised you had a mismatch on that. Gone back and forth with them several times in tickets. I don't see a way for the single member LLC to have a business insurance the way they've set it up. This is the first time I've heard anybody have this challenge. So I suspect you might have an isolated case here. Go back to the product insurance and just see if they can add both your name and the LLC. See if that helps. Does video ads have the same power as regular ads for ranking purposes? Probably not as much as a sponsored product, but yes, absolutely. Any engagement with video ads with good ACOS and conversion is going to be so helpful. So many lives this week. Stephen in the house. Thank you. Yep, you're very welcome. We have 2 coming up next week as well. We'll do it every Friday, and then sometimes we'll have a guest Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday on occasion, maybe twice a month or so. 90 days passing for my shipment creation date, and the products are still in port queue. What shall I do? You're completely SOL. The government is screwing you over. California government regulations are the reason the port is overwhelmed. It has nothing to do with how many boats are there. It has everything to do with the government preventing trucks from picking the stuff up. And so right Congressman in California, right Nancy Pelosi, because that's the only way that's going to get cleared up anytime soon. But to be honest, I think they're doing it on purpose to shut down the port and limit our supply chain. Hi, Stephen. I'm adding a product right now and got the error under the variations tab. So if you're adding an entire product parentage from scratch, I recommend doing this in a template upload to avoid those really awful bugs. You can't add a second product to an old product together in Seller Central manually. It must be done template upload. So I would definitely check out some parentage videos that we have on how to load variations. You'll probably have a lot better luck with that. How to rank the product without adding to the listing, like CBD related keywords. PPC is the only option you have. You literally don't have any other option unless you use external traffic. PPC keywords as well as external traffic with a 2-step URL, which is super risky now. They've pretty much banned all rebate key 2-step URL stuff. I would stick away from it, but if you're in a product like CBD, you have to live with some high risk. So I would high risk that one. Adding a product right now. Okay, I did that one. Jim versus if products aren't compliant to FDA law, how best to report them? Amazon site seems to be behind regulation and violation reports go unnoticed. So what I would do is I would cite the FDA regulation. Don't just say they're in violation, but like cite the actual code with a link and screen grabs and links to both the competitor product as well as the FDA regulation, and then spam those reports and submit them from your personal account as well as your business account to get those to go through. This one coming in off LinkedIn. Hey, Dana, wanted you to know your opinion on how much budget do you set for launching a product and the research testing phase. $3,000. What is the life cycle that you give to a keyword to decide it's not relevant or profitable for the product? So click-through rates and conversion rate are 2 factors you could look at for a particular keyword. If ACOS can't get under 100%, chances are you probably want to slough that off. Or change the listing and make it more relevant for that. Hi, Steve. I'm adding a product right now. Okay, you posted that 3 times. I got you. Eric says, I saw competition consistently beating us on a product in terms of BSR and sales. We're priced lower with way more reviews, 4.5 stars. They don't really have a great listing and images. I checked age 10. They don't have a lot of sponsor ad keywords. With other factors or things, should I check to make sure I'm optimized or check for advertisements? So, Eric, this is a great one. I'd love to see your ASIN. If you want to post the ASIN, we might have time to get to it. Or hire me for a coaching call to go in depth on this one. But basically, long and the short is, if you're being beaten by a product that doesn't look as good as yours, chances are it's got an omni-channel approach. That means they've got external traffic coming from somewhere. If it's one of those like name household brand products, it's because they have physical goods in the store. They're in Walmart. They're in some of those stores. I see that all the time. And people ask me like, well, we should copy the guys that are selling the most. And I'm like, no, don't copy the guys that sell the most just because they sell the most. Copy the guys that look the best and sell the most, because a lot of household brand names will have some garbage listings and still do quite well. Any tips to grow, subscribe, and save customers? Offer a discount. That's the best way. Offer another. So Amazon by default will add a 5% discount, but you can also fund it yourself, another 10, 15, or 20%. That's how I would do it. Hey, Steven, how to index the keywords which is prohibited, like CBD, PPC, and external only on that one. Any opinions on Flywheel? I actually don't know anything about Flywheel, so I'm throwing it into Google here to see what it is. Not really seeing anything that helps me understand. Is it a WordPress add-on? Not really sure. So yeah, no opinion on that one, Jeff. Feel free to give me more info. The insurance refuses to list my personal name on the policy. That's a challenge. That's a big challenge. Maybe get a different insurance. That might be the best way to handle that one. Amazon will delete my shipment because 90 days have passed. How should I deal with it? It'll still check in. Even if the shipment deletes, if it's already been shipped, it'll check in. The question is will it arrive at the port, right? So if you check it in at the port, does it have a scheduled pickup already in motion? Because if not, they may not let you deliver it. That's going to be the problem. Then you'll have to recreate the shipment if that happens. Can I do brand registry before launching a product? Yes. This is a chicken or egg question. We file trademarks all the time. It's one of our most popular services that you guys have hired us for, that haven't necessarily hired us for full service, but like a lot of other agencies, they send a lot of business our way, pushing to our trademark offering because it's really, really strong offering. We've done more than 500 trademarks. I need to update our counter there. And the problem with the chicken or egg question on this one is you're supposed to, for USPTO purposes, have the item live for sale to get credits to make it trademarkable. So the workaround here is one of two things. Either you could go a logo mark where you don't have the item in for sale, but you have like a website or something. It takes 30 days instead of 7 though. Or if you want to get a little bit more risky, you could just print your label out and throw it onto a like product. It's not ideal. It's not legally defensible. But it's for Amazon purposes, it'll pass the muster. So, it's more ideal if you've got your actual product ready to go. You sell your product, you get it up and running, and you trademark it and get brand registry. It's a chicken or egg question. They don't make it easy on you. Nasir says, do you help to change the category of an item? Yes, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I'm brand registered, tried so much, but won't be able to change it. Can you help me? Yes, but it's lots of tickets and contacting Amazon. There's really no secret sauce on this one. It's more just like sheer get as many fish over the dam as you possibly can. Due to poor backups, my bundled items, is stuck and I can't use existing packaging. Would you launch with generic packaging or wait till next year to use branded packaging? I would brown box it for sure, 100%. Almost all of the items I've ever sold on Amazon were brown boxed, especially my like giftable items, my Mr. and Mrs. type items, my beer glasses, my wine glasses. And that's because nobody cares what your brand is. Amazon is a brand killer. They've made it so only luxury brands are remembered. And here's the answer to that. Go ask 100 people what was the last item they bought on Amazon. Then ask them, what was the name of the brand? Only about 5, maybe 10 tops will be able to tell you the name of the brand. And it usually is because it's a household name, whole brand. So I don't think you need to wait. I would just get it up and run, get as much of that sale through the door that you can. It's run by Teikametrics PPC Ads Management. Okay, so Teikametrics is a solid PPC software, a little expensive, but for those that are really super sophisticated and like running things themselves, can definitely help you. I still think manual is better, though. I still think manual beats any automated software. Last time I used Teikametrics was like 2 years ago. What are your top 5 recommended tools for Amazon ad management, keywords, metrics, etc.? So this is going to sound funny, but the tools that are available in Seller Central are still undertapped by most people. If you're not using the search term report, you don't need to look at anything else. Start there. That report is the most important. Downloading your ads into Excel files and using macros is also a phenomenal way to scale your ads. Very, very beneficial. Helium 10, if you're looking for keyword discovery, no tool is better than that. Big fan of Helium 10. And if you use my Amazon guy 50 for promo code, you can get 50% off your first month with Helium 10. And I think if you're looking for an automated PPC tool, there's a lot of options out there. And I still think, manual work is the best way to do it. But if you're going to use tools, you just really need to have an ability to test keywords, see how the spend does, and then come back and look at the results. You don't really need tools to test PPC. You need tools to take it to the next level, right? So scaling, that's when you need tools. Many things can be solved by opening a case with Amazon. Yes. And we open thousands of cases a week. I have a trademark already, but for Amazon Brand Registry, can I apply before launching the product? Yes. Yes, you can. You don't even have to have the trademark fully completed. Just go to brandservices.amazon.com and file for Brand Registry. 100%. Amazon is viewing my brand before letting me add the product. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but if they're gating you from listing it without like a photo or something like that, totally fine there. Go ahead and list the brand registry. That's the best way to do it when you're launching a new product. Get brand registry done, then go add it to your account. Brand registry will take a couple days to kind of matriculate, get everything into the system. So my name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. That's our show today. If you like today's show and you want your name on the screen here for a brief moment in time, write something nice. What did you like about the show? Just say hello or say thank you, whatever you might like. We do this every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we're going to have 2 shows as well. One on our regular scheduled Friday. We also have one that's going to be on Tuesday at noon. We're going to have Foreign Brands join us for that one. And then let's see if we got any comments coming up. Nobody said anything yet. If you want to say thank you, feel free. We really appreciate you guys watching. So my dad's in town this weekend. You saw him when we first started out. It's been great to catch up with Brother Dusk, as we laughed about earlier in the show today. And we have a lot of different things that you can do. If you want to work with My Amazon Guy, head over to myamazonguy.com. Click on the contact us. We got a phone number right there if you want to dial us as well. You can read thousands of testimonials that we've received. It's actually hundreds. I exaggerated. But we do have like literally hundreds of videos about working with My Amazon Guy. If you're interested, go check them out. You can see this entire page scrolling through the entire thing. It takes a long time. Thought about breaking this page up. There's so many testimonials on there now. But that's it, guys. All right, here we go. So thanks, Steve. We'll definitely use Helium 10. Good job, Steve. Nice job. Thank you. Best info. I'm a 10-figure seller, and I'm learning stuff. Thank you, Jeff. Great job from David. Will you have a show on Black Friday? Nope. I'm going to take that one off. Nobody's going to watch me on Black Friday. Thank you, Stephen. Very informative. I want to make sure I have time for this live every Friday. And Sam, hi, Stephen. Is it possible to change the brand registry by flat file? No. You can try. It just doesn't work. That's the show. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. We'll see you next week on Tuesday and Friday at